Well, good afternoon and welcome once again to Ed's Orchids. Thanks for joining me. Now, I thought today we'll have a look at a couple of plants that have been ignored for a long time. And the last time I showed you this one, which is the species Renanthera philippinensis, it was on 23rd of June of this year, when I chopped the bottom off it, when it started getting a bit leggy on the stem. But yeah, we'll do a little bit of talk about this one, and then we'll see how it's developing, how the hybrid I have is developing, and we'll have a look. Now, these are monopodial orchids. It means they just grow on one long stem like a vanda. They're distributed over southern Asia, so it looks like warmth is a necessity. They're closely related to vandas, so they'll have similar cultural tendencies of your plants. Now, the blooms on these are extremely beautiful, with a multitude of colours, sort of like red, yellow, purple, white, etc., etc., in a multitude of colours. Now, I have two of these. The one you can see in front of you is the philippinensis, which is the species, and the other one is one I've shown over the years. I must have had it, 10 years, something like that, and that's a cross between, Inshutiana and Monachica, funnily known as the Tom Thumb Renanthera. Now, is this because it gets small, or I don't think any of the Renantheras get particularly small, especially if you let them just keep growing and don't chop them down occasionally. Now, these, like the Phalaenopsis I showed you, I think it was yesterday, don't have a rest period throughout the year, but they need very bright light with occasional sunshine, so that the leaves don't become a dark colour, and the lowest temperature they probably can stand is around 15 degrees centigrade. Now, I'll show you the hybrid one I've got that I've had about 10 years. Let's see if I can work the camera without chopping off and starting again. And this is the Tom Thumb. Getting quite a nice plant now. Now, it's some time ago that I chopped down this plant because of the bottom leaves on the stem kept dropping off, and they kept putting new leaves on the top, and it looked pretty awful. And you know me, I don't like bad looking plants. I like them all to look nice. Now, I must have cut a good 12 inches off the bottom of this plant. Cut all the roots off the bottom, and I cut it where the burst stem is coming out of the media up to the bottom of where the plants are growing, and that's what I said. There was a good 6 or 7 inches there of burst stem, and with the other few inches ending up to the roots that were on the bottom that I chopped off. Well, here's that plant now, and I think you must admit that it's looking very nice. And it's, although I probably lost a few years blooming on it, because this had bloomed many, many times, but the last bloom was, if I can show you, the last bloom was here. No, the last bloom was here. So I've lost the go up to, I've lost the bloom there, go up to there, I've lost the bloom there. So another growth, probably another year, I'll probably get another blooming off this. I mean, when I had this years ago, it won Best in Show at Tatton Park once with 153 flowers on it, is that something like that? It was unbelievable. But anyhow, that's how it is now. Yeah, and I did the same to this Philippinense. And if you want to have a look at me doing what I did to it, it's on the 23rd of June of this year. Now, I had a quick look at this plant a few weeks ago, and there's signs of some nice roots growing. So I thought I would really take it out of its pot now, because that sphagnum moss it's in is very, very wet, and I think when I take it out I can squeeze loads of water out. So I'm going to repot it. If the roots are very good, I'm going to repot it in some new moss and not keep it as wet this time, but you've got to make sure they never dry out. I also potted a little Phalaenopsis up there, like a little seedling, so we'll have a look at that as well. I think I've got the camera pointing right at the plant now, so we'll take this label out, and this one is a Abelina caerulea, so we'll try and get it out there. This is wet through. There we are. Yep, this has grown some nice roots. There we are, and that's been in really wet conditions, and there's some new roots growing there. You can see the size of the leaf when I virtually put it in. Very, very tiny. And they're the new leaves. That's the newest leaf, they're the bigger one. But I think it needs taking out of the pure sphagnum and mixing with a little bit of bark now. Anyhow, that's the Phalaenopsis. We're not here for that one, but it's nice to see. We're here for this one. So let's see what's happened to that. Planted very loosely. Yep, this looks pretty good. Yep. I think these were the aerial roots that I put in. They were about, I think they were about that length when I put them in, just to give them a go. Let's see what we've got now. Wow. Well, there's the roots now, and they're looking very, very nice. Ah, well, what can I say about this? Do I keep it in bark? Yeah, I think I'll keep this in fresh bark, but I'll just show you how wet this is. And this is far too wet, I think, although the roots are nice. Watch. See what I mean? So I'm going to plant this up in, get rid of this sphagnum, get some new sphagnum, just dampen it off and repot it again. 1, 2, 3. Well, I've emptied this pot out, and I can remember what I did now. On the bottom of this stalk, which had nothing here, I put some super glue on and I stuck it there. There's still some super glue on there, and I also put it in a little bit of sand. So I think I'll do away with the sand now and exchange it for a few pebbles to get this, get some air and some space around there. Well, I've decided to put the Renanthera and the Phalaenopsis, the little Phalaenopsis, in their own separate pots now, in different media. And what I've put in this pot now is I've put a little, this is for the Renanthera, the big one. There's some tree fern fibre there in the bottom, and I've got some bark and some perlite, and that's what I'll plant this up in now. So we'll get ahead and do that. It's got a much bigger pot now to grow in, so that should be helpful. Took the aerial roots in there if they had any. And there's one thing about these, you don't need to plant them in the middle, because the only way they're going to grow is upright. So it doesn't matter if you've got them at the side of the pot or where you've got them. There's a bit of bark, a bit of charcoal in here as well. And I've put the tree fern in there to, that'll keep moist a lot longer. So let's lift this up a bit so it's got plenty of room to grow. On these Renantheras, it doesn't matter if you've got roots exposed neither, because that's how they grow in the wild. So I think we'll leave that one like that, put the label in, and I'll never forget what it's called. That's the wrong label, that's for the Bellina. I'll have a label to make for that. I have one somewhere, but I've lost it. Well, we'll finish up by planting this little Bellina caerulea in its own little pot. We'll stick to the sphagnum moss, I think. Put a little bit in there. Don't want to pack it too tightly, or else it'll compact a little bit and it'll be difficult to get air in. But this little pot has got plenty of holes in the side, so this should do this one fine. And by the way, I've soaked this sphagnum in some feed, and a little bit of extra of nitrogen, bit of rain mix and a little bit of extra nitrogen, so that should do it fine. Well, there's nothing left for me to say now, only thank you very much for watching, and until next time, I'll see you later. Bye.